Here's what's going on right now in former President Trump's New York criminal trial. No cameras in there, so we do a couple of things for you here on Fox. You see the box on the right of your screen with a lot of information that is contemporaneous to either what we're reporting here or exactly what's going on in the courtroom. We give analysis, we give the facts, all of it right here on Fox, so stay tuned. Sex film worker Stormy Daniels has been on the witness stand for a couple of hours now, except for one short break that they have taken. They haven't taken a break for lunch yet, so she's still talking. And at one point, the judge admonished the prosecution, I don't know how much he meant it, not to go too far and wide and let too much detail get into the case. This woman is testifying like she paid for the microphone. Anyway, Daniels has been recalling her alleged encounter with the former president inside of a Lake Tahoe hotel room 18 years ago, with a lot of detail. She describes all sorts of things that were going on with her and with him, and she was staring at the ceiling and blah, 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 blah. She says when she put her shoes on, according to her, after it allegedly had happened and it was over, she was so nervous her hands were shaking. She's a sex film worker. She gets paid to have sex on TV or OnlyFans or whatever it is her deal now, movies, OnlyFans, whatever media she's choosing, just to put it into context. That's what this woman has in her past, and according to her, OnlyFans in her present. So the defense's claim that too many details are being let in is relevant. So we'll see what happens now that the judges said it, the defense attorneys have said it. I want to bring in criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool. So Donald Trump is sitting there. What would you do as a defense attorney with that going on?
Hey, Harris, great to see you again. Without question, I would be objecting on the record to all of these questions regarding details of this alleged affair between former President Trump and Stormy Daniels. I don't care what the judge says. Trump's lawyer should say, we want to make a record, right? So just so your viewers know, there needs to be a record made of every objection to this questioning for an appellate court then to go look at that record and see these objections. And during breaks, you know what else I would be doing? I'd be calling a conference with the judge outside the presence of the jury, and I'd argue that all of this testimony is irrelevant. All of this testimony is prejudicial. And Harris, there's an evidence code section out here in California, 352. We argue it all the time. What does that mean? That means that even if a piece of evidence is remotely relevant, it can be not let into court before the jury because it's prejudicial. This judge should be making that analysis and should not be allowing most, if not all, of this testimony.
So there was some discussion here on the couch about her being made out to be a victim. And there's part of the testimony via one of our journalists inside the courtroom. Daniels has offered a few answers about her continued contacts and meetings with Trump. She says she wanted to keep prospects of apprentice alive. So if there are any questions about this being transactional, she has told us that from the very beginning. I don't know if extortion is something that they can work with. I don't know what they can work with on the defense side, but they certainly can work with the word transactional if that matters. Not sure that that's illegal in your state. She has testified that she felt comfortable meeting with Trump in public spaces because it would be safe. What is she doing here? At one point, she said, when the sex act was over, that she alleged, when the sex act that she alleged was over, her memory went away. She kind of blacked out. She got dizzy, but no, she wasn't drugged, she said. She's bringing things in, and it makes her look like a victim.
Yeah, Harris, great point. And none of this has to do with the elements of the alleged crime, right? And not only is she trying to make herself look like a victim, but look, let's call out what the prosecutors are doing. If this was purely a legal analysis of this case, this testimony wouldn't be coming in. And as of now, Trump is winning this trial by a landslide. But unfortunately, we have prosecutors that don't really care about relevant facts. They don't care about the fact that they can't prove the law, right? So what they're doing is they're making Stormy Daniels out as a victim. And then even more important than that, they are trying to characterize former President Trump as unsavory. This guy's dirty. Look at what he's doing during his marriage, right? To try to get this jury to vote at the end of this case based on emotion, based on we don't like this guy and what he did, and that's what we call, it's like juror interference, and it's really tragic, Harris.
Yeah, look, if they're going to be nasty on one side, is there room for the defense to say, Well, was this transactional? How many men have you had transactional sex with? How is this any different? How many have there been? How many in the movies? How much? I mean, you could certainly show who she is, because this jury, like America, is smart. And these prosecutors are treating those people like they don't have a brain in their heads.
Yeah, that's actually an excellent point. What's the cross-examination going to look at? And guess what the prosecutors did? They opened up the door, right, to do exactly what you said. They should now go into all of that because she opened up the door. How many times have you done adult films? How many times have you had sexual acts on TV? You know, talk about her career, how she hasn't done much in the last few years. But look, at the end of the day, here are the most important questions that Trump's lawyers need to get up and ask her. I would ask her point blank, have you ever talked to Trump about falsifying a financial document? Do you know anything about that? She'll say, no, end of cross-examination.
Wow. You got a smile from Steve Hilton out here like, oh, okay, that was the bingo win. Brian Claypool, always great to talk with you. Appreciate your expertise and your time. Thank you. Kennedy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Number one, the judge sounds like a perv because he wants her to talk in lurid detail, and he's asking her to speak more slowly. That's gross. Number two, let's say the transaction did take place. I'm talking about the physical one. Her being surprised that she was going to a hotel room alone with a man to have body congress is like Pete Sampras being surprised at being invited to a tennis court and you want to see his serve. And then he says, you know, I started shaking when I saw a tennis racket. I didn't know what to do with it. It's like, bro, you've won 17 majors. And, you know, it's this woman saying that she blacked out because she was so nervous is like a surgeon saying he barfed at the sight of blood. It's a little hard to believe.
It's very hard to believe because that's what she got paid to do on film. I mean, it wasn't even like she was used to doing it in the corners of darkness. She was having sex in front of many cameras.
Well lit.
Steve.
So this has to be the low point in this complete farce of a trial. And this is the day of all days that conclusively proves what Trump's been saying all along. As you said, Kayleigh, this clearly is, because all our legal experts have confirmed, irrelevant, nothing to do with the case in point. It is designed to try and damage Trump. It is clearly the case that this is now an election interference farce. And by the way, let's remember who else has done this. Which other countries have harnessed their judicial system corruptly in this terrifying way that we're seeing now in America? Just within the last year, Pakistan. They did it in Pakistan to bring down Imran Khan when he's running for president. Putin in Russia used the legal system to take his opponent off the ballot. That's the company these Democrats demented with their anti-Trump rage. Biden and Bragg and all of them. That's the company they've now put America in. Pakistan and Putin's Russia. And these are the people who lecture us about democracy and the rule of law. It is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. And then they let her lecture us about all sorts of tawdry things. Kayleigh.
Yeah, you know, I think that an important thing happened here. So Stormy Daniels was suggesting that she only felt safe around Trump in public. To your point, victimhood was the theme. And the judge struck that from testimony. I mean, that's in no way relevant to this case.
Yeah, but the jury already heard it.
But the jury already heard it. And Carrie Kupak, who's in the courtroom, said, imagine if you're a juror on this case and you are a female juror and you are hearing these details. You cannot get that out of your mind. These jurors are human. And this is why Stormy Daniels should not be on the stand.
Yeah. I still think that people are smarter than the prosecution is giving them credit for. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I do.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.